Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about rewarding performance. When it comes to rewarding employees' performance, we have to start with what motivates employees and understand some of the theories of motivation that applies into enhancing performance in the workplace. Motivation describes psychological forces that propel an employee to enact certain behaviors. So in motivation, you have to look at the behaviors, goals, or results on which the employee focuses attention on. Also, the form or the types of behaviors the employee enacts, or the types of goals and results that person actually pursues at any given time. Also, his or her level of effort or intensity with which the employee focuses on or enacts those behaviors or pursues goals and results. Another element is the duration or how long an employee persists in enacting those behaviors or in pursuing certain goals and results. So all of those basically determine the level of employees' motivation. Motivation can be intrinsic or extrinsic. So let's look at extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. So extrinsic motivation is motivation that originates outside of the worker and the work itself. It serves as an external environmental force that compels the employee to action. On the other hand, intrinsic motivation originates inside the worker, compels him or her to action because the worker perceives the action as innately rewarding, being meaningful, challenging, or enjoyable to him or her. We need employees to be extrinsically as well as intrinsically motivated. However, sometimes the extrinsic motivation can be more powerful, and at other times the intrinsic motivation forces can be more powerful in terms of being motivated. There should be synergy between the two, which move from intrinsic to extrinsic and move from extrinsic to intrinsic to keep the employee motivated in a sustainable manner. There are reinforcement theories or frameworks to understand pay as extrinsic motivated, particularly when the pay is used for behavior modification. One of the motivational theories is the expectancy theory, which offers propositions for understanding the cognitive process behind the effects of pay for performance on a worker's behavior. Expectancy theory proposes that motivation consists of three components: expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. Expectancy refers to the perception that a certain amount of effort will lead to a certain performance. Instrumentality refers to the perception that the performance actually will lead to a specific reward. And valence refers to the perception that the reward is actually valuable to the employee. So there's effort, which leads to performance, and then the performance leads to reward. So expectancy is the perceived connection between exerting a certain amount of effort and achieving a desired level of performance. Instrumentality is the perceived connection between achieving desired level of performance and the specific reward being received. And valence is basically how attractive or valuable a reward actually is to the person. So the three elements of expectancy theory are expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. We can also have pay for performance programs to keep people motivated. One of them would be merit pay, where pay is distributed to employees based on the rating and or feedback they receive on a performance evaluation measure. You can have bonuses, spot awards, and individual incentives for people to perform highly. And you can have piecework plans where employees are compensated based on their respective production levels. You can pay them based on a straight piecework plan or differential piecework plan, whatever is appropriate for your workplace. You can have standard hour plans, or you can have sales commissions for individual pay for performance. You can also implement group pay for performance programs, which can improve group performance under certain circumstances. The group pay for performance programs tend to be more effective when the group is relatively small. While there may not be an exact science to this, there are certain answers to the question of what is a perfect size for a group. Think about the rule of thumb. People say a group should not be larger than 2 pizzas can actually feed. So anywhere between 5 to 7 people is probably the ideal number for a group. Team rewards are more commonplace with increasingly team-based and interdependent workplaces. Team rewards can lead to higher performance, particularly when the team task is more complex in nature. With group pay for performance programs, you can also have gain sharing, which is a type of group pay for performance program that rewards a group of employees for collectively achieving certain goals or objectives. This way, everyone on the group can be focused on the same outcome. You can have profit sharing, stock options, employee stock ownership plans to reward groups toward high performance. Whether you reward people individually based on their performance or as a group based on their overall team performance, keep in mind that there could be unintended consequences, such as what happened with Wells Fargo, where employees were trying to meet management demand by duplicating certain customer accounts. So the same customer could have 2 or 3 accounts without his or her knowledge. So there can be certain unethical behaviors which rewards tend to cause. So be mindful of those unintended behavioral consequences from any reward system. Sometimes there can be a mismatch between what we know in science and what happens in a business environment. Financial incentives tend to work for rudimentary mechanical works and work that is repeated. However, for works that require cognitive and analytical skills, higher financial incentives lead to poorer performance. Ultimately, financial rewards tend to narrow our focus on what is expected. Avoid the tunnel vision, because financial incentives can block people from seeing or finding useful information and clues that could enhance their job performance. In summary, you can build a reputation as an objective, analytic, and rational professional by analyzing all the numbers, analyzing the data, and analyzing all of the facts surrounding a situation to make evidence-based decisions. Good luck.